Not a big price. State bid number.
No, that was another.
Hey, Don.
It's reconstruction.
So
You hear us now?
Don's on the.
Yeah, it's loud and clear.
And Doug's gonna join.
Doug's by Zoom
Okay.
or phone or whatever. Yeah. So he said he's going to patch in.
So might as well get started. Is that illegal?
And by the way, if you want to move the agenda items around, I have no objection. You know, if you want to move Willard up.
Ahead of the locker room?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we should do that. Let Brian do that.
Yeah, because Brian Hughes won't be joining. I have an update from him, so I can do the whole thing.
You all set?
Yeah.
All right. Call the meeting to order. Any comments on the minutes from March 9th? If no, I need an approval. Motion approved. Second?
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Audience of citizens. And yes, technically Doug, but good. Nobody else? And I need a motion then to move item 5, Board of Education, up to number 4, and put number 4, the locker room to 5. Motion. The second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Brian Grant is with us, so I think you know what? I'll just let you get started. I'll let you can talk about what happened today.
And what you thought of it all, and
Yeah.
you know,
Sort of fill everybody.
Okay, so in terms of coverage, you were successful. You got 5 bids. One of them, albeit it was just HVAC, they must have misunderstood, but even though it was clear as day. The good thing is that kind of lets us gauge where the HVAC was. But you had 4 solid bidders. All-state construction was low. We scoped them this afternoon. No major issues. They have all their documentation. They're well recommended. We've worked with them in the past. They had no major questions about the project. They seem to really understand the scope. They are doing it in other districts, almost the identical scope of work. So we do not see any reason to not let them. There was a little bit of concern about the price difference between them and the number 2 guy. It boils down to they actually went out and got some pricing for ceilings for the site work. Actually, site work is self-performed. That's part of the reason.
yeah, you know what? And I was surprised at that, and I was actually pleased to hear it.
Yes. Yeah, they're more in control by doing that. So I
Yeah.
think that gives them an advantage. They also have ceiling numbers. They've got a mason, they've got a concrete guy, they've got an electrician. So they were very well prepared. They have probably at least 2 quotes for everything. So they know the scope. They don't have any major issues. Pleased to hear that they may possibly be able to beat the schedule.
I'm surprised that they would even say that to you.
Yeah.
Actually, at us.
The problem is going to be you're going to get the units.
Yeah.
It's great if the chiller's sitting out there, but if you can't connect it, turn it on. It's not gonna help. So, we'll have to track it. If it's a year out, it'll be tight. As long as everything's in place and we can get the chiller on by May, June, going into that cooling season to start commissioning that summer, they'll still meet the schedule. So,
Well, I thought the nice thing was they do site work since they do it in-house. They don't have to schedule that around anybody else.
No.
They can just do it.
yep. As soon as they're done, they get a
It's a
concrete
big
guy in,
advantage,
and
yeah.
that's it. So, we don't have any reservations recommended.
Have you worked with them before? Ever?
Yeah, we have. It's been a number of years because they've gotten so specific with this type of work. They don't typically bid our public school HVAC bid package, on a large school project. They're very specialized. But yeah, we have worked with them in the past. There's been no issues. The references are great. Again, they do this kind of work day in and out. So,
Well, Mike and I were in Mike's office, and I was pleasantly surprised that they seem to have read and understood and had a comprehension of the entire package. Nothing surprised them.
No.
In fact, they pointed out
Oh, yeah. A couple
the
things.
one
that we,
spec section,
that
yeah.
we may have overlooked.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
okay,
Which
great.
I thought was, and in a nice way, but I mean, it shows
Yeah.
that they paid attention.
And for the group, they went, Newfield went through the entire table of contents of the spec section and recorded it and had the contract, Allstate rep say, yes, it's in it. It's in my numbers includes this. And then when they got to that one spec section, they thought, no.
Yeah.
And it turns out it wasn't needed. It was kind of inadvertently left.
If you're interested, that's what we.
Yeah, it was like 4 pages of stuff, and it was. I was really impressed with that.
So this, Pat and I went through this late this afternoon. We've got all of our notes into it from the meeting today. We've got it where we feel it's a good document. It's being sent to them to review. They have the option to, make amendments or add things that they want to see in there, and we'll pass it by you, barring any issues. We have them sign this. This is kind of kicks off.
Is this standard for how you operate?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, so on a normal school project with 20 to 40 bid packages, we do this 20 to 40.
Wow.
Just churning them out, but that becomes an actual contractual document. Now you can choose to put that as an exhibit if you want.
Mhm.
We would recommend it only because it is so
Yeah.
detailed project. We normally put that in as an exhibit.
Yeah.
So it's an acknowledgement of all of the contractual obligations.
So they had no objections to any of the scope.
No, none whatsoever.
They understood it.
So,
Yeah.
I had debated questioning where the 10% difference was, but then as we got into, what are they self-performing? What are they subcontracting? It kind of became clear, all right, they've got a little bit of a competitive advantage by doing a lot of the civil work themselves. And then they seem to have a network of subcontractors to do this type of work for them. So
Right, because they indicated that they already got some preliminary pricing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Dealing and stuff, so they did a lot of work.
and we suggested that the other guys just threw in a plug number for a lot of their items. I'm just curious. I
they
mean,
probably could have.
Yeah.
Because, the other contractors we do see on larger school projects bidding just the HVAC. So they're very, it's very focused, whereas Allstate is more of a.
Okay.
They are somewhat of a general contract.
sure.
So
What website looked like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a lot of subs.
they said they do so much direct bury steam pipe, so much that
That
it
they're
makes
doing
sense
all
for them to
themselves.
just open up a civil division, take
Yeah.
care of all of themselves.
Well, they said 1/3 of their work is with
Yes.
that, which is,
Yes,
It's
it's
neat.
heavy mechanical. So
What's the as a breakout, what's the civil part of the package dollar wise? Roughly, I'm just curious.
That we don't know.
No, I was
I
just
mean, I
curious.
know let's say the HVAC is around 2.8, if you can take NCOM's number, which
Yep.
we would, because we've worked with NCOM
Yep.
before, they're a very good contractor. So, that leaves you with, I don't know, $1.2 million, $1.3 million.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the civil's maybe a couple $100,000,
Yep.
include the concrete. masonry,
Everything. Yeah. No.
So,
the
yeah.
underground.
Yep.
It's probably a couple $100,000.
One question is, how are we going to handle that unit cost that they were way high on, it was the hazardous
Yeah.
oil or something?
They agreed that they were.
Yeah.
I still
He did say in the recording.
Who
that-
wrote
It's a
that?
unit, it's just in case number, Tom. By the way, he's an environmental guy. I'm done.
What's your hazards for? Pesticides?
You never
Put it in
know.
the ball
You dig it
field.
out.
Put it in the ball. It's already there.
Yeah.
We
My
hope
brake cleaners down there.
we hope to not encounter it, but we felt it best just in case.
Oh, no,
That's why
I-
there's boulder removal, there's
Yeah,
things in there just to protect you. in
Yeah.
case there's no arguments.
Yeah, yeah.
They admitted that was definitely a mistake.
Yeah.
The average was around $250, $270 a ton.
Yeah.
They were like 720, so it was
It covers
out.
everything.
They admitted it.
Yeah.
It's a mistake. They were going to go back and look at it. We have since sent out the leveling sheet of all the unit prices, just so you can get an idea where the average was.
I saw that, yeah.
And it sounds like what they're going to agree to is basically
Okay.
what the average is. So,
Right. So how does that get handled? You just adjust it in the contract? Do they adjust their number somehow? Like, how does it dealt with in their?
Normally, the way we would do it, contract is
Right.
it's another exhibit. The unit prices become an exhibit.
Okay.
We actually set what the unit price is based
Okay.
on the agreement from the scope review and the scope document. And that just becomes part of the
Got it.
contract. So whether we're doing that attachment for you,
Yeah.
that's where you would put it.
You're
sign it.
all over it.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Guys are the experts.
yep. So that's how it's handled.
Yeah.
They just acknowledge it as an exhibit with those numbers, and
Yeah.
that's what we're locked into.
Okay,
if
good.
we encounter this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he did say they're way lower than that
Yep.
usually.
All of their other unit prices were within.
I was impressed with that actually. It looked pretty in the same range.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. That was the only vote. So.
They checked on lead times. They don't have any.
No, they actually said they're going to try to stay with the specified Dakin package, which is good. They've checked with Swan. They think they can beat some of the lead times we had predicted. The issue is going to be on the electrical side.
Yeah.
Even CES admitted it's probably a good 12 months right now. So we knew we were going to be there, which is why we built the schedule this way. So like I said, you can get everything done and even have all the infrastructure in place until you get here. So, you're ready to go. You set it in and go. The only problem is if you don't have it in time, you can't start the chiller, which, you're not going to miss the cooling season. Whether it comes in May or it comes in July, you're probably still going to get it up and be able to start commissioning. We hope that they can get it by, March, April, in line with the chiller delivery and then get it bumped and get going with cooling that first summer.
Yeah.
Get you through commissioning.
And I was
everybody, no matter who we hit, is in the same boat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these guys clearly know how to handle schedules.
Yeah. And what I found encouraging too is they said once they have a letter of intent, they'll start rocking and rolling. The submittals in,
That's
and then
all,
they're going to do the long lead
That's
items
all it
first, and that get that
So
sort of
they're
release.
most likely going to go to Swan. They're going to get the bike package, chiller, unit vents, everything. They've got all of their own hangers, piping, everything they need. And then the less important things like concrete mix designs, masonry, precast caps will come after the fact. They know that they've got to get the gear released. They got to get the chiller released because that's going to set the dimensions for the pad and the site work. So I was pleased to hear them say that they're going to prioritize things first, not just dump everything onto CES. So
What do you think about their approach? They said they were trying to run the branch lines as well as the main down the halls. And, was that kind of your approach, or did you just think the main lines would go first, the first summer, and then?
Yeah, the way we had envisioned it was that this coming summer, all of the ceilings get removed, the devices get supported. They go in and do all their observations, all their field measuring, coordination, start their fabrication. With a little luck, they'll at least get all of their layout hangers in the first summer. Then they would go to nights and start running their mains. Once the mains were in place, they would shoot the branches through the classrooms. They were talking like they may be able to get the majority of the mains installed this summer. That would be great. But they don't know what they don't know until the ceilings come down. We've seen up there, so I think it's going to be a little eye-opening, but
there's a lot of stuff on some of those other
some allowances and contingencies there. So it's positive. They're aggressive. If anyone's going to get it done, I think they can. So
good.
Yep, they are used to doing it. He said they're currently doing almost the identical project in Greenwich right now. So they go in, The question came up about moving furniture and stuff, and you did say, I thought we covered this, and it is.
I thought, and
it's very specific in the specs. It does tell them. We actually clarified it to make sure that everyone knew. And I think he backpedaled a little bit, but if it's just moving the student desks out of the way a little bit to run, that's not an issue. But if they come across cabinets and millwork, it's loaded with books, we can't expect them to do that. That didn't happen in McGee, So we worked with Ed and the custodial staff. Boxed everything up and
do the same thing as
Focus on know it's coming.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Doug knows it's coming. Look, he's on the line, and he actually said they were, Board of Ed. They'll work with him. When he was saying, I was like, is he offering too much? Because I thought in the spec it put a lot of the onus on the contract to deal with most of it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And I think they are prepared to do all of it, but maybe empty cabinets with personal belongings or books.
Right.
So
or whiteboards on a wall. And kind of stuff.
Yep. That's.
We'll work it
The
out.
good news is none of this was a surprise to them. What's in a classroom?
Well, they raised that actually. After we started talking about their experience with schools, they're kind of a lot of stuff.
We knew they had been looking at it pretty hard, so they obviously put the effort.
Yeah,
and they were at the walkthrough.
Yes. One of them too. Yeah.
Hey, when is Newfield going to send a letter of recommendation?
We can do that tomorrow, Don.
That'd be great. And then also, as far as floor protection goes, do they have that in their contract, protecting all the floors?
There are some general notes in the specifications and in our front end that talk about its means and methods, but they are required to protect existing finishes. And, we say including but not limited to. Did we specifically call for poly and ram board or masonite? No. That tends to just drive the cost. We leave it up to them to, protect the finishes, how best to do it. So obviously if they get out there and they're not protecting it, it's going to be one of the first things we address. So.
No, that's good. Again, the recommendation letter, the sooner you get that to us, the sooner we get these guys under contract and get them moving.
Yeah. Okay. And on the timeline, I actually have a draft of just this relates to everyone here. They're doing a special meeting next Tuesday that's going to involve the budget referendum, and this will be on as the only other item. So they've agreed to put this on the item. So I put together with Kevin and everyone else the agenda item. So I guess what I'm looking for tonight is do you have to wait for that letter from Newfield, or can you make a motion tonight to direct me to go to town council and get approval to authorize?
Well, based on Brian attending and saying,
yeah,
based on,
and that's how it's written up.
We ought to go right ahead and just follow up with the letter tomorrow. We can always pull it if we don't get the letter.
Right.
I would then have a verbal contract too, with Brian saying he's recommending him.
Yeah, we can have a letter to you by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah. But I need the motion tonight, though, for you to tell me to go get it, get the approval. So, and that way I can finalize, because I'm going on vacation tomorrow morning. So I'm trying on a plane. So I'm trying to get everything set for Lisa and everyone else, and I'll have all the pieces, but I just need the yes from you guys to,
Letter's not going to get to 8:15,
no.
8:30 tomorrow.
I can do without the letter. That'll be a little like, if you get it, stick it in there, and I don't have to reference it in the summary.
Well, Doc can fly his private jet to your plane.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Should get
I don't want his plane buzzing my plane, all right?
Hey, Mike, do you guys have does the town have a standard letter of intent that we could issue the contract to tell them to proceed with, ordering long lead items and so forth?
I know we've done them, but usually we use the DOT, we use the DOT form, but we have done it. I don't think we have a standard, but we can dredge something up. But we don't need it tomorrow because we have to wait till we get the funding authorized.
We write them all the time, so we have a standard template. We can just give you a word form if you want.
Yeah, and Don, I'll be back anyway. So the timeline is this: town council next Tuesday. And then because the funding, which we talked about today, the contingency on top, which I don't know what you recommend, but finance wants a 20% on top of it. So that bumps it up to 4.875, right? I know you're like, whatever, but they've been burned before. So they want to they'd rather give back,
But that number, that's not a number that people should salivate over and spend. You understand that?
Yeah.
That's just so that you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
A 20% number to me is super high.
Right.
Well, this is Don. What I'd recommend is that the Public Building Commission recommends 10% contingency for the project, and whatever the town does, they do on their side of the ledger. But I think the group, I think we just go with the 10% and run with that.
Okay. All right. So then, assuming everything goes good on Tuesday, then the town council is going to have another special meeting on the 8th, which is the following Monday. And if that goes, and that the town meeting will be held, and the town council will approve it subject to Board of Finance, which is the next day, May 9th. Okay. So by May 10th, that morning, if all goes well, we could do a letter of intent. All right. And then we get them rolling, and then if contract and all that stuff can happen.
Yeah, that'll just initiate them now, picking the phone, making calls, getting some.
Yeah. So we're on our side. I'm impressed. They're on their side as far as the town council and whatever. 2 special meetings to deal with this. I'm assuming it's a yes. We're doing all we can to get this thing so that they can get cranking.
So have you guys already talked with them? Once they get their letter of intent, they're going to proceed with the long lead time?
Oh yeah, they're on record today.
Yeah.
Stating that they said that's all they need. They understand that.
I know sometimes people wait for a contract.
No, he said it specifically, right?
They're used to it in that arena. Even we get bogged down with it too, with other municipalities, and the letter of intent now becomes the start. So.
Well, that's great that you have a format. Yeah. So, Don, there you go. There's a format.
Yep, we got it.
Great. And then I agree 100% that the descope notes that came out of that meeting have to be an exhibit in the contract. I don't know if I want to call it a B, C, D, E, F, whatever you got to do, but make sure that's in the contract as well.
So that's the game plan.
Yeah.
So,
Or I say any other questions in your absence, should we run stuff by Doug? I don't want to call you, I'm all saying.
absolutely.
Going.
Absolutely.
Right.
And Doug's going to be, if he needs to get involved with this agenda item, in case the numbers change or whatever, everyone's going to have the word file. Right. Lisa, Doug, Rose, Kevin, and Kate, template. So all the pieces will be there.
Okay.
But yes.
Good. Now tomorrow, after this meeting, who's going to notify whom of what?
Lisa is going to, and also I should also add in this agenda item is the asbestos. We're going to also get town council approval for, it's just under 100 grand. Right. Doug, put that all together. We were going to do 3 different agenda items, but then I was told package it as one, so we can get this as one item next Tuesday. So it's a 3-part thing, which is Allstate, Hasbro for the asbestos, and then the town, and then hold the town meeting. So this is the process we got to go through. So that's in there too. And your recommendations to do it, we're going to follow that lead, do it and get it done, outside the project,
So we can take Ryan's letter and add it to the back.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll have that. If you get it in early tomorrow morning, then Lisa can, because all the packages go out to the town council tomorrow around, I don't know, 11 or 12 or something like that. So
I'm in earlier.
Just email it over to, actually email it to Lisa.
Okay. Lisa.
Okay. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing to do in Mike's absence is to
make sure that
Lisa can get a hold of Doug or me or whoever she needs to get a hold of.
Yep. Even when he's here, I'll just send it to
Exactly. Yeah. We'll work for her. Come on.
Ryan will figure that out.
We know.
Yeah.
So for tonight, what we're going to approve, I guess, is my next question for dollars. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with that. I know we have the contract that we're going to issue for that amount. I think we also need to include the amount that we've paid the CM, and then also too, we need a contingency dollar amount. Correct?
Yes.
So those dollars are what?
Is that 6.3?
4,063,000.
Right.
So 406.3 will be the contingency.
Round it to 400,000.
406?
No, just 400.
400?
400.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
9.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Let the swings.
Rounding down, that goes against my very nature, Tom. Never do that. See,
all right, then put it in 300 around.
No, I'm kidding. I think 400 is sufficient. If Don's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
And then
what's the total for Newfield for their current contract? Because it needs to be in the number.
We should know, but you have it.
I've been looking through what you sent me. I think I found where you're.
And the PO?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So worst case, it's 441. We think it's 434.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think I added 5 for reimbursables that was not in your.
Yeah, we didn't see that, and then I think the insurance was
twice. And
twice.
Oh, okay.
So that's what the difference is, because it's around $8,000.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can come up with this afternoon.
Most consultants don't care if the PO is more than their contract amount.
Okay,
Brian.
You know,
you're the only one who's ever called me about that.
I said, okay, look, worst case, they're just going to roll it into another allowance. Let's bring it to your attention.
Yeah.
Just lose the sleep.
Well,
The numbers not matching.
441, so that the total is 4,904,000. A lot of fours. No. Oh no! In addition to that, we have to include the 99,360, right?
Now you're talking about the other contingency.
No, that 99,360 is for the asbestos.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's got to go in this number.
Well,
that asbestos number. I just want to talk about that for a minute. I think that's not part of the Public Building Commission's number. That should be part of the town number.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We know it has to be done. The town's gonna spend it.
Yeah.
Doug is actually gonna be.
So I think what Don's point is, I don't think you have to
We
make a
have to make a
motion.
motion.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay.
Don's, I mean,
They're gonna
Doug is handling that through the DAS and it's sort of like outside the parameters.
Yeah, okay, I got it. So that means then by my mathematics, 4,904,000. That's what I have. We're looking for.
All right, you guys got it?
That's the same number I have.
Oh, I've never had.
Wow.
All right, then. So I guess for Lisa's benefit, I need a motion on accepting Newfield's recommendation for choosing all state construction contract for all state construction to and I guess we need the we've already approved your fee.
Yes.
So we don't really need an approval for that.
No, it's already a done deal. It's already on the contract.
So we'll just need a motion to approve the contract for all state and the contingency. Or a recommend.
I guess it would be the total project budget. Let's call it that.
Right.
Oh, so you want Newfield in there?
Yeah, we can just break it out, but we're recommending the total project budget of 4,904,000. We've already approved 400.
Do you do it as two different motions then?
Yeah.
Just so a motion for Newfield for that number, and then a motion for the number that needs to go to council for whatever, or wherever it needs to go.
So okay.
I don't have to include the motion. I just,
Yeah, no,
all I'm saying is PBC recommended to.
Yeah, the only thing I just want to make sure that we're clear, and it goes in the minutes, is that, you know, the 4,904,000 is the total project budget for this school and this project. That's it.
I can live with either way.
Well, we can break it out as a total project budget, but our approval tonight,
Right.
the construction on, just with the all-state contract with a contingency that we're and you're okaying of 10%.
Yeah, again, I just don't want to be part of that 20 additional percent that the town's going to throw on top
No,
of it.
I get it, and you won't be.
Yeah. But if the town, Kevin wants to set something up, have at it. Yeah, just don't tell us.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay, so I guess since I've been blabbering enough, I need a motion from somebody. To proceed with the contract for all state. And a second.
Well, for the total of 4,463,000.
Right. For Lisa's benefit is 4,063 plus 400.
Yeah. Right. I'm getting 4,469,300 for 10%. Am I wrong or am I?
We're stopping with it.
Oh, 400. All right, sorry. Got it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're good to go.
Awesome.
Brian, you're free to go. That's the Rangers.
I see Pat on from my office on the line too. Pat, did I forget anything or did I do good? You just unmuted. That's okay.
So, tell him nice job today on reading all those spec sections. Man, you got to do that for different trade packages?
We start to.
Yeah.
Well, what's tough on the other jobs is they've got anywhere from 35 to 100 individual bid packages.
Yeah.
So we started moving away from reading each one, and sending them the sheet the night before and saying, look, you bid this.
Yeah.
Come prepared, have it filled out, and then we're going to talk about the.
I thought that was a great idea.
It helps.
You can see who's prepared and who.
You know, look, lest anyone forget, we've got with Allstate, there's about $225,000 of allowances and contingencies already built into that 4 million. So, you know, barring any issues, we're going to use that first. So it's good that you're putting 10% on. You don't need 20.
Yeah.
The fact that we've already got 225.
Yeah.
So,
say 20.
You know? Yeah. Yep. Tell them that's why we had anticipated based on what we spent.
Right. Gotcha.
We skinnied it up. We were a little higher.
Yeah.
We skinnied it up, but there's definitely should be enough.
Okay. I will let them know, but they're gonna round up like I always do, and then add more on top.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so we will send you an LOI template, and I will get you a letter of recommendation first thing in the morning.
great.
All right,
Okay.
good.
We'll get
Thanks,
going,
Patrick.
and we'll do a.
Thanks.
I'm here. I don't know if you guys can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
We got you.
Oh, look at that. No, I'm good. Otherwise, I think this went well, and everything went well today, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing so far.
Yeah.
I thought he had laryngitis.
Yes.
What do you reading those things all day?
Sometimes we've done 6 to 8 a day, usually 3 or 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Just to get it done, because we get such tight time constraints to try to meet, either town council. It's just.
And then how do you save the recordings, obviously?
Yes. Yep. We hold on to them for legal purposes.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, it helps if you just forgot to write something.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
true.
Yeah, I have one more question. You
Yeah.
just mentioned that you carried allowances in the contract. What was the dollar amount on those allowances?
They all varied slightly, but all states was just under. It was like
221 or something and change.
221, 222. So there's at least $220,000 of allowances built into his contract right now
Thank you.
Yeah.
for unforeseen existing MEPs, for ceiling removal and replacements that are unanticipated, just things that we know are going to come up.
Yeah.
And if we don't spend them, they get credited back to you. Or if we overspend one, but we haven't
shift
touched
it.
the other,
Right.
then we just move it around for you and continue to pay for it. So
Yeah, so it's fungible, the money.
yes,
Yeah.
yep. The
Yeah.
goal is to not spend it, only use a little bit of it, and it just avoids us coming to you for changes.
Right.
It allows us to move things forward. We just continue to update that allowance and let you know what the remaining balance is. And if we've done our job well and they do their job well, you could be getting a credit back actually at the end of the project. for it. So.
Yeah.
I told Mike.
Don't get us worked up over the credits. We'll count those chickens when they hatch. Yeah.
I know. Well, when you work in New Britain and Waterbury and everywhere else, it's like they want like $2,500.
Yeah.
What you got to do?
Yeah.
$500 with them.
Really?
So.
But I told Mike today, with those high contingency numbers, if they came to me as a lender, I would have rejected it. I would say,
I told a few people that.
You guys don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That amount of contingency.
Yeah.
Pay attention. So at 10%, that ought to be a sort of a town standard, I think. Start at 10%.
It depends on the level of design where we are.
Why you need more than, if you really need more than 10, my opinion, something's wrong.
Well, as we talked before, sometimes you have engineers that don't detail everything out, and you get into a project and they didn't fully vet it. And then all of a sudden you're like change order, and it's legit because it wasn't on the drawings and no one thought about it. So,
I've been there. So
yeah.
I find that in the engineers.
It's just one factor.
It's the architect.
Yes. Right.
The architect.
Or
thank you, Brian.
Contaminated soil, Tom. You hit a couple of soil.
Based on the history of the town, the agricultural nature of the town.
If you need any contamination meetings, let us know. We can be there to field questions, but I know sometimes you try to handle it yourself. So but we're here if you need us.
All right.
Great.
All right, and then I know, look, all eyes are on Willard. We know we still have the other two. The good news is we've done a lot of the legwork to get all of the documents ready, but when you're ready to move forward with those, I think we get this off the ground, but then I don't want to lose sight of those other two.
Yeah.
Even if they don't come to fruition, let's give you the deliverable. You have the package ready to go, whether it's now, 2 years from now, whatever.
Right.
You can kind of dust it off. So, we'll get there, but we wanted to focus on getting Willard.
No, Willard is the focus. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So,
Good. All right. Thanks.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Great job, guys.
Thanks.
Morning, Pat. All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. You too.
All right. The locker room.
We still have something else to discuss on the school.
Yes.
Okay. It's about the contingency that Newfield has,
Right.
which is significant. So I sent around my little cheat sheet, which was that email with the if you take it off,
Well, the contingency, let's clarify that. It's not, Newfield doesn't know that there's
No.
a contingency on it.
last sheet. Yeah. So roughly, because of however all this happened, and probably with the influence of Griswold and Harvard hovering out there in the the outer fringes of Willard, we have about $490,000 of set aside in the ARPA account. Now that account is what is.
Wait, who set that aside?
That is set up by
guy.
finance. Kevin Delaney. Okay. Yeah. So it's.
In other words, it wasn't us.
No. This.
Just want to be clear.
Yeah. The ARPA account has all the stuff. It has prior CES, SES. Most of that stuff is already in it, as well as Newfield's contract. So there's almost $500,000 set on top of their $440,000 contract amount. So right now, Kevin's looking at an $883,000 request to the town council to cover. Really, it's to cover the contingency that's been put on top of the low bid, right? So it's really that, but that's their objective. But I did mention there's a hefty contingency. I said, but it's got to be approved by you guys to, if you want to reduce that contingency, that every dollar that comes off that reduces the ask to the town council.
Right, but I want to be clear for everybody here. We didn't set Newfield's contingency. That was set by Kevin.
No,
that was total. That's double Newfield's contract.
Yeah, I know.
That's
it was a combination of some assumptions. We also threw on like the 6 or 8 months extra of theirs, which I think they were running at 50,000. Was it 50 or 40? Whatever. Yeah. So anyway, which was good thinking because you were leveling downs in Newfield.
Right.
With saying go to 24 months. So Kevin did not set that contingency. No, actually I did. Okay. Because I went into request and whatever. So with all the numbers that came through, so to me it's hyper conservative.
Well, so, if you add that,
I kept rounding up.
There was my point when I added this up. Going back to the town, 490 was put in as a contingency for Newfield. Kevin was recommending 20% on the contract, so another 800,000. And then if there's allowances in there of 200,000, that's $1.5 million.
Yeah,
that may never be spent. Now some of it will be.
And I will talk to.
But that's too.
Yeah, I will talk to Kevin too about maybe if he knows Newfield's comfortable with 10%, and you guys are, basically this whole group, maybe he'll move on that. I don't know, but
can you tell him also what you said about they already have the other contingency in their.
Yeah, well, I'm going to let him know that too. Yeah,
it's not just that 10%.
Yeah, so 220. So
look, obviously we don't approve the money, but it's a reflection on us if we go in too high. Somebody asks us, well, what'd you recommend that?
Yeah,
I think it's, and Don chime in on this, but 490 and 400 to me is still way too high.
Yeah,
especially with the competency of the only thing I can think of that would cause Newfield to use any of a contingency would be if we ask them to start on Hubbard and Griswold earlier and they run into some stuff, because if it's just a regular normal contingency, it's going to be focused de minimis.
So
this is Don. I would just be crystal clear that all the Public Building Commission is requiring for this project is the $4,904,000. If you guys decide you want to round it up to 5 million even, then we could say 5 million even. But I like uneven numbers because they look more real. So 4,904,000, I'm very comfortable with it this time. I don't know how the rest of the group feels.
I would say I agree. I think that's our recommendation. The town does what they want with the rest of it.
Right.
Oh,
so if they want to add a contingency for Newfield, they can.
No, they don't want to add. There's already enough. But
we don't have anything for Newfield for contingency.
We do. Yeah, we have $490,000
in ARPA
encumbered in the ARPA account. So basically what Kevin can't do is he can't touch that contingency unless the PBC says, hey, you know what? We can drop it down to 390 or 290 or whatever.
So if we drop it down.
At least that's what he's telling me.
Okay, they can use the ARPA money someplace else in town for.
No, they can use it to reduce the quote unquote. Yeah,
risk.
right now he's asking for he's asking for 883 from the town council. If you guys say, well, drop Newfield's contingency by 200, it becomes 683. Because it gets unencumbered in that ARPA account, and then he can say, oh, I have another 200 in there. It's in the same account. So I know this, and I also think the insurance, when I was calculating, I didn't understand the insurance calculations.
Yeah.
And whatever the rate was, I was going to the max on everything, the umbrellas and the pollution liability. So I think my numbers on those were way high. And then when I got the numbers, I was like, from Brian, I was like, ooh, so there was, I don't know if that was, anyway, so, because there wasn't a lump sum in there for the insurance coverages. It was some rate on per 1,000 of coverage.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, I'm open for debate, but I think recommending 490 is too high.
Well, guys, you got to look at it this way right now. This is where it gets really weird quick is we're at 4,904,000. We have $400,000 of the contingency. Plus we also have $221,000 of allowances that we don't know if we're going to even need or not. So right now, basically, we have almost $600,000, over $600,000 in potential internal contingency for the job already. Now you want to throw another 490 on top of that, and then he wants another 20. I cannot support that.
Yeah.
So we can proceed with just leaving everything the way it is. Don't reduce Newfield's contingency, leave it the way it is. And Don, I don't think that's what the intent was. The intent was if Newfield didn't need the 490, which I don't think they do, you could just tell me we can unencumber, we could drop by 100, we can drop by 200, or just leave it the way it is. And then just give it back when the job's done.
I would recommend we take it out now because the town's going to have to go bond for that additional overage that we're holding in contingency.
Actually, they have extra interest income they made. So Kevin has it in an interest of like a revenue account. So it was not, and it's in this fiscal year's budget. So, and it was not because the interest rates went up when inflation went up, we were making more money. The town was. So essentially he has a way to do without bonding anything. That's a request.
Yeah.
And it's from that.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like they're asking us to approve something for his convenience, I'd rather focus on the specific job and whatever they have to do to finance our recommendation with other stuff, so their lives could be easier later on.
And I don't even know if they uncovered that. And I think what he does is he takes whatever gets the max that's approved by town council and makes sure he has the contract covered and the contingency covered. So he's got like two separate PLs set up. One's for the town. Anyway. If you want to leave it the way it is, we can leave it the way it is. I think it'll still fly. He has more than enough money in that interest account to cover. I think he's got over $1 million or something. So it's 880 and maybe $1.5 million.
Well, again, I'm going to follow. I like Don's recommendation. The 600 is, in my opinion, way more than ample. So I think we ought to recommend that we're recommending approval of pardon my numbers.
4,904,000.
Okay.
If they want to hold, Mike, if they want to hold another $100,000 on their side, that would be fine. But just looking at it, it's 4, 5, 6. That'd be $700,000 in contingency on a project that's only $3.842 million.
Right.
I mean, that is insane money to hold.
So I know it is. So do you want to release most of the additional Newfield contingency? That's the question.
Yeah, I would say yes, but again, it's only my vote. We got to vote.
You want to release the whole thing, or you want to keep 100 in there? Like
to Don's point, we can keep 100 in. That's at least defensible.
Right. Okay.
But I think anything above that.
But I mean, all the money's in that individual fund. So if something happens with Newfield and there needs to be an additional there, releasing the 490 now doesn't mean we can't come back to it, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So then I say we release it.
And if it comes down to that, we can just go to town council and say, hey,
Yeah.
you know what?
I'd much rather go back and say this happened.
Right, then have all this
Specific
money
document,
held.
have to-
Yeah.
and have somebody question, well, you know.
Yeah.
And that ARPA money is, what else could that be used for? Is that still gonna just sit there?
It was actually set up to dedicate it to the HVAC
So
account.
So if anything, it will be for the other two.
Yes,
things.
yes.
So it's not gonna disappear.
No, it won't.
Nobody's
And
gonna
it'll float back into that account and it could be used for Willard or Griswold or Hubbard or even other stuff that's going to happen with.
Well, then if he can get it approved, you can keep that money in here.
Well,
Sort of seed
what it does do is it buys down the amount the town is exposed to. The ARPA money came from the state. So instead of the town having to kick in 800,000 or $1 million or whatever the number is, it's reduced that amount that the town has to contribute.
Yes.
So
yeah, you're releasing it.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think we should let it go. I mean, we don't need it. If Kevin wants to go crazy and hold 100 grand more, you know, I could sort of get it, but again, I feel what the 4,904,000 that we have.
Well, I guess the only other thing is, I mean, could it get pulled back and be unavailable? I mean, if it doesn't get used, but if it gets pulled back and it's unavailable, is that a different problem?
I can't answer that like firmly, but I think once Kevin gets an appropriation once he got the ARPA money and he got the town council's direction to put it into this account, I think that's almost like a one-way, unless there's another action.
I'm just curious.
But right now, I think all of this is meant for the 3 schools.
Sure. All right.
And they knew most of it would go to Willard because it was going to be around $4 or $5 million with that, including all the costs. So are you then saying that we can then just tell him we can just unencumber that addition because we already have some contingency in Willard in Newfield's contract or PR right now. But
I would just say that we feel very comfortable with the numbers we're presenting that we can complete the project for that amount. That's where I go. I want to get it. I want to get into.
Okay. All right. I can work. I'll work with that.
Yeah. Very comfortable recommending this.
Okay.
And whatever the town wants to do to cushion whatever expenses it thinks it might need, but we think we're going to bring it in at
4.904 project budget. Okay. I like it. I can run with that.
And then let's just talk about it for a second. So let's talk about the downside, if there is one. One, the drawings would have to be really balled up. 1 or 2, we run into some unforeseen circumstance out in the field where we have to abate half the building or something crazy like that. I mean, that's the only things that could come into play, which I'm not too concerned with. Those are, tangible changes in the original scope of work, and therefore it needs to be compensated. It was beyond all our comprehension that could ever happen. And then if there's anything happens where anything's damaged to a water line break or that's covered under the insurance money. So again, I feel very comfortable at that number.
Don't forget who we've had look at this already.
Yeah, I want you to call those guys that gave us the number, Tom. Call those 2 guys that gave us the numbers and tell them they're low bidders. They got the
Well, the 3.7 wasn't too low, and I don't know what his exclusions are either, So do you want to make a motion to, and Don had already mentioned this, if you make a motion that the project, the project budget is, the PVC is, I guess, estimates. However you want to craft that motion, then I can run with that and say, this frees up, most of that contingency.
And however they want to approve
it,
because it's ARPA, we don't get involved with ARPA, that's brain damage.
Yeah.
So, well, I can't make a motion, so. But I will ask for a motion from one of the esteemed members of the PVC.
I can figure out the motion.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure this.
Okay, I make a motion that the PVC, the maximum project value that we currently see it at based on the scope of work that was presented to the architect and put out to bid is 4,904,000.
So we're going to recommend 4,904,000 to the town council.
Lisa, if you want to write that up and send it to me, I'll clean up the verbiage in it and get it back to you.
Okay. And then I don't know if you want to put in
And I don't know if I have to include that in the agenda item. I think if there's enough fee for Kevin to just release it, I don't think this has to go, you know, to the town council as a number. We can have it in our minutes,
Right.
you know, but I don't think it has to, because I think if I say we have a motion, this is the project budget, it includes Newfield, that means that this money is then released, this contingency, and I'll work the numbers out, you know, after this meeting, just to make sure I'm on the right track. And then I'll also say,
you have to understand, it's not released. The money's not
released.
It's just going to buy down the project value. That's all it's doing.
Right. Okay.
I'll second that motion. So
Pretty
Don,
brave.
second the wording.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passed.
That will help.
Yeah.
But I think it would have gone through anyway, you know,
Yeah.
but the ask becomes a lot lower.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And I think it's the money's, you know,
Hey, if I thought we needed it,
yeah.
but I with Don, I think it's way too much of a push.
Yeah. And then, so you're okay with me telling Kevin, by the way, if you want to keep 100, that's their call. That's their
Kevin's
call. Yeah.
right.
Okay. All right. I like
So
it.
that when you go to him later on, when there's a big emergency, he can pull something out of his pocket like this. Like any CFO of any company always does.
Yeah.
There's the drawer with
Line over here.
Oh, I know. Thank you. That's good. Get this all wrapped up tonight.
No way.
Got to get it all worked out though. Bart, the devil is always in the details. You know that. Yeah. Okay.
Just make sure you come back. All right.
That's six.
Move on to the locker room.
I think that. Oh, okay. One more thing about the. No. I think we're good. We're good. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Well, I might as well tell you there. I think I told you already. The Board of Ed has a grant application into the feds for one or two of the schools. You know, they were denied this by the state HVAC grant. They have another shot at the feds, which they've been getting questions on, and then they're going to have another round in August of the school that I think there's another $150 million coming out. So they're going to put those two applications for Griswold and Hubbard at the end of the summer.
Do we know why we?
Yeah, any feedback?
They're asking, Donna. They're trying to find out. We have not.
We were gonna
We have not found out, and Donna has actually, I think, been inquiring on her level about what were the reasons, so that we can adjust, the town can adjust the next round, the applications for the next round accordingly. But it's sort of like, I think you got to pull, going to pull it out of them. They're not going to just say, oh, it's like the SATs, you were high here and low here,
Yeah, Donna's gonna have to do something.
Are we comfortable with what we're asking for? I don't even know what the number is. Do you think we'll cover two schools?
I think they had almost $10 million. They had a $4.9 million bond ordinance, which didn't mean, they were trying to keep it below the referendum.
Yeah.
And then they had another, I think it was, they were asking for another 4.9. It was like 50-50 type thing. Right. So it was just under 10 million.
Okay.
So 5 million per
We'll
school.
look at our recommendations 4.9 here. So
yeah,
should
right.
be
in the ballpark.
Right.
So that's it. No more. No mas.
Okay.
On the Willard project here.
So next to town car one. Oh.
No.
Locker room renovation.
Yes. Brian last minute sent the drawing set and the specs. I talked to him after I figured we'd have questions. So I said, what level are you at? He goes, we're way beyond design development. He's at 75% towards the bid package. So he can have it all ready by the end of the month, end of May, excuse me, ready to bid. And he said he's going to keep his foot on the gas pedal so that no matter what happens with funding or whatever, he'll be ready. And then whenever you direct, we can go out to bid.
Any feedback from the police commission?
He has basically been going to them with color selections, materials, like I guess the soft stuff, and making sure they are, the final finishes and all that stuff. So he has been going to the PD and the police commission.
The police commission's okay.
Yeah.
With the sort of a rejiggering of the.
No, he said they were a little, what's the word he used? No, I don't know if they were confused or a little, I don't know, perturbed, but you know, no, that was, I think, that was not expected, you know. So, right. But they all know the deal. He knows, he told them. He also said that he is reducing his billing by $50,000 for the CDs, bidding, and the construction admin, because the scope had been reduced just to the Board of Ed space and the 2 bathrooms in the front. So it's reflected on the second invoice that we have tonight to approve. And he said what he'll do is the schematic design, what?
Yeah, on the second.
Yeah. No, the second project.
Second project.
Second project.
Phases.
Yeah. So
that wording.
So everyone, they're all taking a haircut on that, but they did finish schematic design, and they went into a little bit of design development with all their, you know, the full Monty. So that's ready. So whenever you direct, you can go right into the next design development for the rest of the, the next project or projects.
Now
so,
that what you sent us tonight, was that full spec?
Yeah.
That was everything.
It's 300 and some pages now. So I was scrolling through, like, you know. Yeah, 50.
It overloaded my phone. I tried.
Yeah. The project manual, and I think he even has. He's going to put the contract and the front end together. I think that's why the 75%. He doesn't have that, but he also wants to go through the drawings as well again with his team. So that's kind of where things stand with him as far as what he's produced so far and the invoicing and the billing. The second thing he wanted me to let you know is that he would like to get more information on the outside, because the Sally ports are going to have drains that have to go to an oil water separator that go to the sanitary sewer. So he wants to have enough survey information so that they can work that out, you know, make sure the elevations are right and all that stuff. So I'm going to be getting him whatever mapping we have, but he was recommending that we get a survey done out the back. And I said, well, just give me how big's the box? Give me something that shows what you want. And then we can, yeah. And also even the grading, I mean, because they're going to have to ramp and all that out the back with the Sally ports. And, you know, I don't know what the finish for the slab is versus out there. So, and I've run into this on our paving jobs. Sometimes you think you have enough information just with GIS and, you know, available topo, and then you get into it, you're like, oh man, I wish we had, you know, got an A2 and a T2, you know. So anyway, that's coming up. There's nothing concrete tonight on that, but I just wanted you guys to know about it. I don't think it's going to be big money because this is a rather limited area. And it's friggin' okay. Yeah. So once I get how big is the box? We'll maybe actually, should I get proposals? Do you want me to?
No, we use Newfield's continues.
No, we need to get a number though to use it. Yeah. So anyway, I'll just start poking around. And if you have any recommendations about, you know, surveyors or whatever, let me know. But we can deal with that in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
The other thing was, end of May, he's ready to go to bid. That would be the earliest he'd be ready to have a package ready to go out in the street. Now, related to that, and I told him this too, Donna has put in a request, I don't know if I told you, for $3.9 million into the government's budget for discretionary bonding up there in Hartford. Okay, so that's in there. It's one of those things where the governor could say yay or nay, and whoever votes on it, whatever committees. So that's in there. So if that's a possibility, you may want to delay the bidding until you know if you have it or not, because that's $3.9 million that the town gets right from the state. Bang. So that's out there. If it looks like it's going through, Arosh and the mayor and everyone's going to be saying to us, hold on, hold your horses. We might be getting this $3.9 million. And we wouldn't know probably until
the bridge. We'll find out.
That's right.
Then you're going to wish that police on it.
Yeah. And I think by the end of May, all of this stuff will be like known. Is it out? Number one. If they reject it, we'll know. If it's in the mix, then, you know, we might get marching orders to just say, you know, hold up, let's see if we can get this. And then Kevin explained the whole, I said, well, when do you really know? It's got to go through the State Bond Commission, which apparently then has several meetings in the fall So you might not know until fallish of this year. So just so you guys know what's going on, and I know you don't really care about the funding, but that's, you know, hey, if you get $4 million from the state, that's huge.
That's price $320,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's it for me.
All right. Now we have 2 invoices from Shapinsky Homes. One dated March 15th, first one, for $13,500. Project billing. And they estimate that they are 80%. Excuse me. Done. I need a motion for approval for.
Make a motion, we pay the bills.
Okay. Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Now I have a second invoice dated April 17th.
His motion was plural. Covered. His motion was plural.
Well, he doesn't know what the second one is.
Plural.
Okay. Well, the second one
Motion
is
was plural.
$37,125.
He picks up those stuff on the fly here.
Yeah, no, at home I'm just sleeping, reading my phone or whatever.
We know.
I know. That's why I put on mute so you don't hear me snoring, okay?
All right. Second motion, or second invoice is for $37,125. A month later. Get a motion for that. I think we want to do them separately.
I'll make a motion to pay the bill.
I'll second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. Any new business?
Oh,
Nope.
that's the case, don't you?
Mike, that car wash is going to stay out for another year. Old business, the high school closeout. Who knows?
I have nothing. Doug, do you have anything on the high school stuff?
He's what Tom telling me on his face.
Way up.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't find the.
I think it's just,
I'm sure we'll hear if something happens there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I've heard nothing.
I'm assuming that's not the question.
It's at the state, and
Right,
they're,
Yeah, who knows?
and the last time I talked to Kevin, they were waiting. They
Yeah.
got, you know, whatever. So they sent responses back and they were waiting. So,
I'm sure it'll come right around the minute something happens.
oh, you'll hear about
They'll
it.
come running to you.
Oh, yeah. Or you.
Because you'll be making copies. I'm gonna run.
Well,
to you.
they'll be going to Doug first. I think.
There's nobody there.
Yeah, no, he just unmuted himself.
All right, Doug.
Hey, sorry guys.
There's nothing.
No, it saw Kevin last week. He said the same thing, that it's up in the state's hands. He spoke with Michelle in the office. The new commissioner that stepped down, resigned, moved on. So they're a little short staffed right now.
They might have another guy in there and out, or woman in there and out. Well, okay. Don, you got anything?
You guys have a great weekend.
You too, John.
Is that a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
A second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Good night,
Have a
everyone.
good week.
Take care.
Thanks.
Have a nice vacation.
All righty.
Take care, guys.
You know, our regular meeting next month?
Yeah.
I assume so.
Okay, yeah.